Welcome to Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery starring Jerry Springer, along with Gene Galvin and me. I'm Megan Hills. We're recorded live in front of a brilliant studio audience at the Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky.
My daddy came home.
Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Jerry Springer.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, and it's great to be here on another Tuesday night at the.
Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky.
That is great. How you complete sentences. Fine. I thought that was my sentence.
Yeah.
No, you go ahead and do it.
I got it. Thanks.
No, but here we are, another Tuesday night. Although lately it hasn't. Every once in a while we don't do it on a Tuesday night, and.
Yeah, why is that?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't
Why
think the
is
schedule.
Gene?
Gene's got the business plan
why
and the schedule.
is it? I mean, I fly all the way in, and I come over here, and then I find out we're not doing it.
Well, I set the schedule as a producer of the show, and it usually is on a Tuesday night.
Right. And people
But
expect
then
that.
there are things that happen in the world. There could be an earthquake. There could be
was there
a
an
new
earthquake
pope.
here?
There could be something that
No,
happened.
there wasn't.
Was a new pope? No.
It won't always happen on a Tuesday night, but
Yeah.
almost always it
Yeah.
will.
What
and
would
I
prevent
think we've
it
been
from
pretty
happening on a
regular
Tuesday, Gene?
of having it on Tuesday night.
What about those? Because we don't have a new pope.
No, we don't.
And there hasn't, thank God, there hasn't been a, speaking of the Pope, there hasn't been an earthquake.
Well,
here.
the new Madrid fault is boiling below us, but no, there hasn't been.
So what is the
earthquake.
reason?
Yeah, why are we not
Let's
here
get to the
every
bottom
single
of this
Tuesday?
because I feel badly. I tell people, "Oh, come by Tuesday night," and then there we are. And
feel the same way.
where's Gene? And where's there's no podcast.
Well, sometimes on some Tuesday nights, and it happened to have fallen this year, that there is a. There we go.
What? There's a
That
what?
there's a.
Seriously, what
What?
is this?
There had been some Tuesday nights when there had been a Xavier game.
A what?
A Xavier game.
Did you say Xavier game for real?
Really?
Xavier, they're number 5 in
So
the
you're-
damn country. A Xavier game.
So
that's
you're
right.
adjusting the lives of people around you.
Right. Because you want to go to a basketball
I have
game.
season tickets. Yes.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Is that part of the business plan that I purchased
Well, I
season tickets for you?
did put it into the business plan, but it was on a back page.
I wonder what that XU
and I didn't
thing
copy
was.
that for
Yes.
everybody.
You didn't
That's,
copy that,
but it's
part.
in the file.
So we
It's
really
in the
don't
file.
do the podcast every Tuesday, particularly on solely on Tuesday nights. That there's a Xavier game, then we don't.
And it's a home game only.
And
is
it's
that
a home
correct?
game.
Home. Oh yes,
because you're
Megan.
a
I
ticket
can
holder.
DVR it. I'm not going to cancel a
Well,
podcast for a
that's
game
big
that
of you,
can be
Gene.
recorded.
Thanks.
Well, that is ridiculous. I happen to be a Yankee fan. They play 162 games a year.
Well, that's different, Jerry. That's different. We have to have
There are going to be a
discipline.
lot of
We promise our listeners we will be here on the nights, and we can't be like taking off for the Yankees.
So that's the reason we're not doing it.
Megan,
Ridiculous.
Yes.
He didn't go to college. He went to Xavier.
that's right.
Hey, that's where I got my
Hey,
master's.
you know, speaking of that, Jerry.
Yes.
That is a very interesting thing you just said.
Yes.
You just ragged on my college, where I graduated 2 degrees and been an adjunct professor.
Yes.
Xavier University in Cincinnati.
It's an excellent.
Excellent school.
I've noticed that the sniping in the presidential primary season, particularly on the Republican side,
Yes.
is now bare knuckles. I mean, they're
Oh.
talking about the size of guys' weenies compared to their hands, and they're talking
Exactly.
about
Yeah, it
man-tan
went
and all this stuff.
downhill
Oh, and,
fast.
and,
It's like-
and who peed in his pants? and
Really?
stuff.
Really?
Yeah, with Trump.
And,
Yeah.
it made me think of something.
No, they did.
Yeah, they did.
Honestly, it's a junior high school student council election.
Really?
That's what the Republican primaries are.
And it made me think of the Wharton School of Business,
Yes.
which is a university at Penn. University
Trump
of Penn.
graduated from there.
He graduated from there. He's always bragging about, I'm a graduate of the Wharton
Yes.
School and blah, blah, blah. And I started to think about this, and I had a memory because I've spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania. I've done a lot of work there. I've lived there for a period of time. And I rememred that when I
Did
was...
you ever live in Pennsylvania?
Such a lie.
It's a setup. Just roll with
Okay,
it.
roll with it. You're now living in Pennsylvania. Yeah. Yeah.
So, hey,
By
Megan,
the way, some of the finest hearing aids are sold. Sold in Pennsylvania.
really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to set the building on fire.
What
This is
kind?
awful.
What kind is it, Jared?
4 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
No.
Hey, so anyway,
Yeah.
Wharton School of Business.
Yes.
So I'm an adjunct professor at Xavier.
At Xavier University,
But
yes.
I've heard University of Cincinnati people, the big rivalry of ours,
Yes.
say at the business school over there, no, the Wharton School is lowbrow. It sucks. It's not what Trump makes it out to be. And I flash back to my time in Pennsylvania that I saw many times people, not a lot of people, but I would see sometimes cars where a person who graduated from the Wharton School
Yes.
would put their diploma on their dashboard. I kept thinking, why am I seeing that? I probably saw it 10, 15 times. And one day in a shopping mall, I saw a cop and I said, why do I see Wharton Business School diplomas on dashboards of cars? And he says, oh, it's simple. If it's on a dashboard, they can park in the handicapped spaces.
Oh, my God. Nope.
No, finish the joke. Don't let me stop you.
Megan, can I get a hell yeah for new material?
Yeah.
You may not. Gene. No, you may not.
Because that's not, it's got to be good material.
I swear, I actually bought a book of jokes, and I can't believe I left it in my case.
Yeah. I actually
Because next
sent
week
you
I'm
a
going to
whole
be
list.
on fire.
Yeah. It's called show prep, Jerry. Show prep.
Call
Yeah.
prepping for your job.
Yeah. Speaking of prepping, I have a colonoscopy coming.
Oh, that's
Oh,
fun
they're
to share.
going in. When are they doing that?
Yeah, they're going in.
Next when?
They're bringing in the troops. They're going in Thursday.
Yeah, they're going in Thursday.
10 years ago.
Oh,
was it
we're
you
going to
or
report
Gene 10
on
years
this.
ago?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
we're going to report
yeah,
on this. Next week.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if it's bad news, then we won't. But if it's
Yeah.
good news,
If
oh
it's
yeah,
bad news,
we're
I
gonna
won't be
report
here.
on- That's right.
Yeah. But if it's okay news, then we'll
because I know that
because we
you-
did it 10 years. We did.
Yeah.
I
On
did
the
it
radio
10 years
show.
ago.
Yeah.
When we did the radio show for
Yeah.
Air America.
Yeah.
And I remember you when I'm there. They put you under, and then
Yeah.
the doctors go under. But and you did a live report.
We did a radio bit on Air America.
This is all true.
This is
It's
true.
true.
This is
We're
not
not
on,
making
it's
this up.
So we did this bit where we had sound effects. And
Like
I
he's-
was like I had a microphone in my hand and I had goggles
It's like
on.
when
and
Geraldo
like,
Herrera went to Rivera went.
hazmat suit, and I said,
Yeah.
And the guy who was filling in for you said, and he was doing this remote to me, and are you ready to go, Gene? And so I went in with the team that was up there doing the colonoscopy, and I was reporting on things we found up there, like an old gym shoe, pair of women's panties. I don't know,
That was just.
it was.
Are we seriously having this conversation?
Not good.
This is
Yeah.
actually happening.
Yeah.
Okay. Real life.
Okay.
Weird.
Hey, Megan.
Hey,
Yes.
Gene.
I gotta tell you, this promotion we're doing, "Do You Want to Date Megan?"
Yeah.
is like
Oh, it's just
fantastic.
taken off.
Which is why I'm online dating.
Fantastic. So,
Yeah.
This
'Cause on the
explains
break-
why I have to do online dating
Hey,
because you
I
guys
know.
are ridiculous.
During the break, Megan came over to me and confronted me. And she said, "Listen, when am I going to get this date?" And I said, "No, Megan, this goes on and on and on."
gotta go on for a long
But we do. We have two guys in the wings. They're not
That's
here
what you
tonight.
said.
We have two guys, a guy from Brooklyn, New York,
Okay.
and a guy from actually the Cincinnati area.
Oh, no kidding.
Both of whom want to come on the show
Okay.
and vie for your affections or your hand or something. I don't know. So
Have you talked
I'll
to
leave
these
that
gentlemen?
alone.
Yeah, thank you.
And all of a sudden
Just let that.
became.
Yep. Let that go.
You didn't think I'd leave that alone, did you? Do you not know who I am?
I know.
Yes.
for real.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you talked to these guys, Jane?
the answer is yes. I always vet them. I say, "Hey, how you doing?" And they say, "Fine." I say, "You want to be on?" They say, "Yeah." And I say, "I'll call you." See, and I hang up.
Get on down to the phone.
That is exactly how it goes.
I believe that.
Can we have a report? Have you been on any of these dates?
No.
Well, this
no.
is
Well,
not
the one
going
guy
well.
came in and with his wife.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
that didn't,
go
well.
very
No, it
well.
didn't.
Well, at some point, we got to find someone that'll go out with you.
Oh,
we can,
Jerry.
so we'll have a report.
Jerry, they all want to
buddy.
go out with her.
Well, of
That's
course
not the
they do,
issue.
but we have high standards
Well,
here.
that's the point.
They got to be recently breathing.
Very recently, preferably with pants on. That would be great.
Hey, by the way, Sara Palin, as we mentioned
yeah.
before, works for us now. She does the Sara Palin Minute. And just to remind people, when her people contacted my people,
You.
I That sounds like bullshit when you say it. Just when you say
Not
it.
one person bought
Yeah, I got no
You
people.
don't even have a person, much less people.
So anyway, when her people contacted my people, she said, I want to do political analysis. We're in election cycle. And we said, no. You got fired by Fox News because you sucked at that. So no, we don't want that. But would you do cultural critique?
Right. Yeah. Cultural analysis and do some, what was like pop culture stuff.
And she phones these in.
Did she phone one in?
She phoned one in having to do with the Oscars, which happened recently.
That was Sunday night. It was fantastic.
So, David, if you don't mind, we're going to hear Sara Palin's analysis.
This will be good.
Hey there, everybody. It's me, Sara Palin. We're here to do another Sara Palin Minute. And this week, we're talking about the Oscars. That's right, the biggest night in Hollywood. And I tell you what, this year did not disappoint. From the red carpet to the big screen, it was one exciting evening in old Tinseltown. For the red carpet, I tell you, my girl Tina Fey absolutely slayed it in her purple number. And who didn't see that Charlize Theron in that red dress? I tell you what, that was cut all the way down to her but she was rocking it. Way to go, Charlize, looking good. Another exciting part in the evening was watching Leonardo DiCaprio snag that little golden trophy. I tell you what, as a gal who's seen her fair share of disappointments, I'm looking at you, Bristol. It sure is nice to see someone walking off that stage with a well-deserved award. Way to go, Leo. But ultimately, for this gal, the best piece of the evening was the host. That lovely colored man, Chris Rock. What a good job. Because nothing makes me happier than watching a whole bunch of those elite Hollywood types squirming around in their sequin gowns. Way to go, Chris. You certainly delivered. Well, that's all we got for this week. Tune in again to hear another Sara Palin Minute.
Yeah.
She was right on it.
Way to go, Sarah.
I do have to ask before we move on.
Yeah,
And I'm going to bring
what was
David
that?
Pruce on of Ambient Studios, who is, let's hear it for David Pruce,
David.
by the way, who is our technical producer. Did you bleep something out on her? She phoned something in that you, praise the Lord, God bless you, censored. You acted as our censor. You bleeped something out,
What did
correct?
she say?
There was a FCC violation in there that would have been offensive to our listeners, so I put a beep
was
in
it?
there.
You
over
have
it.
to
Well,
tell
my
us
memory
what
it was something about Charlize's dress, and people who saw it know that she had this dress that was real low cut.
gorgeous
and
red dress.
she said,
missed it.
cut
Hello.
down to her something, and then you bleeped out the something. Well, just tell us what was the something you bleeped out.
I don't feel comfortable saying what it is on the air.
Could you just spell it?
Or could you
Give
give
us
us
a
a
hint.
hint?
Give us a hint.
See,
us some
on my
hint.
show, we spell the things,
said-
and then no one can spell, so
That's right.
no one's offended.
Cut down to her what?
I'll say that it started with a B,
With a B.
Okay.
and
And
it
he-
was some type of wildlife animal.
Wildlife.
Barracuda.
A barracuda or a bobcat.
Bobcat.
Or a gopher? No, it wouldn't be a gopher. Or what do they have? Megan, what do they have up in Alaska? A beaver? A beaver. Cut down for a beaver. Oh, my. David, you can't let that in.
I can't
I
believe
won't
you
confirm
said that.
no,
no.
you can't let that in.
That is
Good
awful.
job. Good
It's a
catch,
live
David.
show.
No. That was not what she said.
Oh, no.
She wouldn't have said that.
Say that.
God love her.
God love her. Hey, Jerry.
Yes,
Let
Gene?
me ask you a question.
Fine.
This is true because we've been hanging around for a long time, and I've watched, all kidding aside, I've watched this incredible evolution, and vicariously, my wife and I have stood off to the side and watched you go from, by the way, from when you came to Cincinnati, you were like me. We were both making about $5,000 a year. Me as a teacher.
Yes.
Starting my education career, probably $7,000. You were making probably not much money as a city council member.
And you're just more consistent. I mean, you stayed with the 7,000 a year.
yeah, that's a good point.
I admire you. I got
And my life now is a struggle to have a dignified retirement.
Yes.
by the way.
Yeah.
But and then you just kept rising and rising. I mentioned this the other day on another podcast. My wife kept saying, Gene, you're investing a lot of time into this friendship. And I kept saying that this dog is going to hunt eventually. He's going to make it. And
No.
if we're there when
Love
he
that
does,
terminology.
we're going to ride up there with him, get some rides in a limousine.
The limo isn't
Hey,
that big for you.
Did you ever think starting out, that it would go here? And maybe the bigger question, seriously, did you aspire coming out of Northwestern Law School, Tulane undergraduate, to be, and again, I mean this sincerely, rich and famous? Did you set that as a goal? Did it how did all this happen?
I knew my career would end in Kentucky.
Well, you have to be old enough to get that. Actually, you don't. It's a legend that passes on and on.
I just had the timing wrong. Yeah.
Let me ask a question to the studio audience.
Oh, we don't need to go
Look,
there.
even young people go, I know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Yes.
That's great.
No, this actually, on that issue, the other night, a week ago Sunday, I was hosting The Price is Right. I do the national tour of The Price is Right, and we do it at theaters and casinos across the country. And the weekend before, it was here in Cincinnati at the Horseshoe.
Downtown?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we did a show
Casino in
Saturday night and Sunday night, and one of the contestants comes up, it's a Cincinnati crowd, and makes a reference. I said, I think you can, I said something, you can win a lot of money, and she says, oh, will you write a check?
Still happening.
And I said to her, it's 45 years ago.
Every single time.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. That is great.
It just won't die. The girl was like 25 years old. Her parents weren't even dating when it happened.
Do you remember when you were doing?
People ask me, does he pay you with a check?
Yeah.
And it's like, God.
Do you remember when we were doing Air America, the three of us,
Yeah.
on Jerry Springer radio show, and there was a bit we did of finding the funniest comic Jerry Springer fan. So we did a contest at maybe the Funny Bones or something, some comedy club.
Oh, right.
And the bit was, and we picked the funniest guy, we judged him, and then he came in and he was on a show on a Friday. To do the bit, you and I went over to the Funny Bone. I'm pretty sure that was a club.
You introduced me.
I did 5 minutes, you did 10 minutes. And I introduced Jerry. It was like a whole audience full of young people. Yeah. And I asked the question, how many of you people know about Kentucky with Jerry? Every hand went up in the room. It's like, how do you know about this? But I led them in a chant because I said, I am sick of hearing people besmirch my friend by saying that the check bounced. That check did not bounce. And I'm going to lead that chant tonight. The check didn't bounce. Come on. The check didn't bounce. Lay off of this guy.
45 years ago. Yeah.
This is my favorite conversation ever.
This is great.
Yeah.
That's what you got to love about this guy. You know?
The best part about the story is, there were no good parts about it, but the least good part about, or the least bad part about it was the check. The reason it still exists is because it was never cashed. So therefore,
Really?
nothing was paid, right?
Correct.
So what's the big deal?
Not even a cross.
No, that's why the check exists.
Because it was never cash. I didn't know that.
No, yeah, never.
So how did you go from there?
So how did I go?
Yeah.
It was a short detour, but
No, did you ever think
No,
this
did
would
I-
Did you
happen,
want
by
to
the
be
way?
famous?
no. I mean, Gene knew me at that time. Back then, politics was everything. And the war was everything, and civil rights and stuff like that. We, honestly, and I wasn't special or different, we weren't thinking careers back then. I wasn't making any money, and I just didn't care. I was single, and all I cared about was political stuff. Yep. And that's what drove us. Later on, I realized, oh my gosh, I'm married now, and I got to make a living and all that kind of stuff. But we kind of knew all along that our politics is pure, and that I'm not being corny now. It really is. I'm of the view that if you make your living at politics, in elective office, you're eventually going to be compromised. You're going to become intellectually dishonest. Because if the only way you can put food on the table for your family is by getting reelected, you're a 45-year-old man, you've got, you're married, you got kids, you're supporting the family along with your wife, you can't afford to lose the next election because all of a sudden you're out of work Now what am I going to do? Who's going to hire me? That kind of thing. So politicians really get very scared as they move towards middle age. It's not just an ego thing, I got to get reelected. It's their livelihood. I mean, there are serious family consequences to it. So you start rationalizing your positions, and you start rationalizing, well, it really is, I can't do any good unless I get reelected. I want to do good for the community, so I have to get reelected. So therefore, I'll vote this way on this issue, or I'll say this. And so we start getting politicians doing everything they can just to be reelected. And we see that every day. I mean, there ought to be a way, and I don't have an answer to what that way is, but there's, the beauty is I can look at my politics, and Gene's the same way, and I can be as pure as possible because there are no financial consequences, no family consequences to what my positions are. I make my living in show business. I didn't think that would be. I thought my career would be in law, but it turned out to be show business, and I'm having a great time with it, and I don't apologize for it. It's great fun. So, but that's how I make my living. But I never mixed that with politics, and that's how your politics stays pure. And how did we get into? Oh yeah, so no, I never thought about being rich or famous. No,
and certainly not about being an entertainer. Then that wasn't a goal.
There was no one who picked me out of high school or college or law school and said this guy's going to be in show business. I mean, we have had this conversation.
We have had.
No, and this is God's truth. I'm not just saying because Gene's here, but in my close circle of friends, and Gene, Lewis, and whatever, I'm not the funniest guy in the group. Obviously not the best looking. There's no one would, even in a small circle of friends, would say that's the guy in show business. So I just got lucky. Very lucky.
And yet you've been on Broadway. You've had so many amazing things because.
Well, they all come because of the show.
That's so cool.
That's how you get. So I get to be known because of the show, and then you get offered opportunity. Broadway came because of Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
Dancing with the Stars came because of the show. And that's how things happen.
But Jerry, I really will disagree with this. You are really funny, and here's the odd thing.
Did I tell you about the hearing aid?
Yeah, right.
Despite what you may hear on this podcast, he's actually got a sense of humor.
Do you know that when Jerry Springer was in politics in the early years, and I'll go back to Vote 19 and then run for Congress in whatever year that was, what year?
70.
70, and then city council, then the mayor's race, and ran for governor of Ohio and all that stuff. There was a humor, and on the news on Channel 5, the NBC affiliate in Cincinnati as an anchorman, the humor worked so well in every one of those situations. There is a piece that an old friend of yours, Pat Barry, this is a Facebook thing, sent out of outtakes from Channel 5 when you were probably doing commentaries, and you did some promos for Channel 5. And this cut of outtakes is freaking hilarious. And I was watching it thinking there was nobody at Channel 5 that could go into a studio and have the whole studio crew on the floor laughing.
Yeah.
And you were doing characters, and you were doing just ridiculous stuff that was so funny. That humor has served you so well. It's been an amazing career to observe. And in all honesty, we're sitting at this table doing a podcast because of your creativity and your success. And I know Megan and I are really enjoying kind of being part of this. And
could this, in case the colonoscopy doesn't come out well, could this be the... Am I getting... This is what it's going to sound like?
Well, could be. This could be a fundraiser.
Well, Jerry, yeah.
We'll do a fundraiser.
Jerry,
hey, we're going to pay per polyp.
That's good. That's some dark humor there.
Why am I making fun?
Yeah, why are you making fun?
Oh.
Hey, by the way, speaking of...
$500 per polyp.
Yeah.
Come on down. We're going in.
You're a sick man. That derailed quickly.
Hey, I think if we find a gym shoe in there again, we'll be like, where the hell's he going?
He's got a pair.
I just hope
maybe we missed one the last time.
I just hope they're Jordans.
Yeah, all right. Hey, by the way, speaking of fundraisers, I just want to get this in here. There is a place called Rabbit Hash, Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
It is an amazing place. Yeah. And music people know about it. I've ridden Harleys for years and rode down there constantly as a destination on Sundays. It's a historic place on the Ohio River. And there is a place called the Rabbit Hash General Store. And sadly, a few weeks ago, there was a fire and it destroyed it. So now there have been musicians who have gone down there and are continuing to go down there and do concerts to try to bring the place back. So I appeal to our listeners, if you simply Google Rabbit Hash General Store, or more specifically, go to rabbithashgeneralstore.com, you will find ways to help this cause. We are working to bring that general store back. It is an amazingly atmospheric and typical store of that era. And there's great music that happens down there around the wood burning stove, as well as in some buildings that are kind of in that same vicinity. It opened in 1831. It's a very significant place. Yeah. So please help out the Rabbit Hash General Store. Yeah. Hey, before we're going to hear Ben Knight, we're real excited to have Ben Knight, and he's actually popped up here in a position. We appreciate that. I wanted to ask you something, Jerry. Do even if it's a short thing. Okay. The Supreme Court, there's number one, a vacancy because of a death. There's a particular case that's upon us that involves Roe v. Wade, abortion rights. Touch on that for a minute, and then we'll introduce Ben Knight and hear some music.
Yeah, well, just a quick response to that. Obviously, with the death of Scalia, we now have 8 members of the Supreme Court, and it's difficult with only 8 members because the way the court is structured, it could very well be a 4-4 tie, which means certain cases will be decided differently than if they had the 9th member of the court. And the reason we don't have a 9th member of the court is because the Republicans have said they will not even entertain, they will not even meet with a prospective nominee from President Obama, and they're going to wait till after the election. And so even though the president has the constitutional responsibility in a vacancy to nominate someone for the Supreme Court, and the Senate then has the constitutional responsibility to advise and consent to vote approval or not, the Republicans said no. We don't want President Obama to make an appointment because we're assuming that he would, appoint someone or nominate someone that would be at least progressive. And we don't want that, so we're going to take our chances. We're going to wait. We won't even have hearings. And we're going to wait till the election, and hopefully, from their point of view, a Republican conservative will be elected, and then they'll make an appointment then. This is the Republican Senate. Well, the obvious point is, first of all, President Obama was elected by the American people in an election where every American of age was allowed to vote.
2 times.
2 times. And they elected him, as far as I know, for a 4-year term. 4 years, not 3. So this notion that because it's the last year of the president's term, we aren't going to respect his authority to nominate someone and have the decency in representing the American people to have a hearing on this person, vote up or down, that because it's the 4th year of the presidency. Well, how about saying to the Senate, those senators who were elected to 6-year terms, that the 6th year, they don't get any votes? That's what I want to say to the Republican senators. I'm sorry, in your 6th year, you don't get to vote.
On anything.
On anything. We're taking away your powers. And this is just the latest example of how, for the last 35 years, this party has brought about the destruction of America's view of our own government. In other words, everything is just no. Disband the government. If you have to shut down the government because you don't like the budget, shut down the government. Cut every program you can. And they have done this for 30, 35 years. And then you wonder why, how come Trump gets to be the candidate? Duh. You have convinced everybody that the American government is horrible, that the President of the United States should be disrespected, that you should take away his powers any way you can, that the day President Obama was elected the first time, the night he was sworn in, January 20th, 2009, Mitch McConnell, the senator from Kentucky, had a dinner, a roundtable dinner with, 7 or 8 other senators or party bigwigs, and they decided that their prime goal, he's even quoted as this, the prime goal is to make sure that Obama is a one-term president. Not the prime goal to do what's best for America, not the prime goal to let's deal with some of the problems we had. Remember, January of 2009, the financial system of the United States had tanked, and virtually everybody had lost at least half their life savings. Anyone who was on a pension, whatever. And it's not just, quote, Wall Street. Everybody was suddenly hit. Oh, my God, I can't retire now. I can't sell my house now. The country was in a crisis, the biggest one since the Depression. And these guys are saying our number one goal is not to fix America or to help it out, but to stop anything that Obama does. And then you wonder why suddenly, 8 years later, you have a reality TV host just about getting the nomination of the Republican Party for president, and Europe and the rest of the world wondering what the hell has happened to America. We have destroyed our government from within. It wasn't communism that did us in. It wasn't ISIS that did us in. It wasn't Al-Qaeda that did us in. It was a Republican Party. Their whole goal has been to stop the power of the government to do anything, to vote no on anything, to shut down the government if necessary, to say to this president, when we have an incredible case coming up right now on abortion, the biggest case since Roe versus Wade on abortion, on whether a Texas law, which basically shuts down clinics in Texas because it says no doctor can perform an abortion unless he's been admitted to a hospital there. And all the hospitals are saying, if you do abortions, we're not going to admit you. So basically, the clinics are being shut down. They'll have like 1 or 2 left in the whole state of Texas. And women there will have to go to another state. Or the 1 or 2 clinics they still have, now it's suddenly 20 days longer in order for them to even to get into the visit for consultation, which could push a woman into the second trimester and make it even more dangerous for the woman. I mean, they're just critical cases that can't be decided now or will be decided differently because this government won't do its job, because they're not even going to let the President of the United States do what he's supposed to do, which is nominate someone to fill the vacancy from the death of Scalia. And they're not even going to hold hearings. And they're not even going to let a prospective nominee come and visit them so that they can, question them and talk to them and talk to that person. And we just sit here and take it. It's okay for our government to be shut down. Honestly, if this were people from another country, we'd be we'd have a war. But because it's Republicans, we say, oh, that's politics. And we just sit here and take it. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I have to look at my responsible friends who really do, a lot of them do vote Republican or whatever, and they're good citizens and all that. I want to say to them, really? Is this the party of Lincoln? Is this is even the party of William Howard Taft, Teddy Roosevelt? There've been some really good not even the party of Eisenhower. It's not even the party of Ronald Reagan. Never thought I'd say that. But it's not. It really isn't. It's just been hijacked by these people that have no concern about what is really best for the American people. It's disgusting, and I think if this November election isn't a landslide for whoever the Democratic candidate is, just to make a statement, or let the Republican Party do something really courageous and say, even if you're a member of our party, if you are shutting down our government, if you are saying that the president of whatever party can't do the appointment he's supposed to do, if all you're going to do is stop the American government from functioning, then you don't have a right to get support from our party. We'll even lose this election. I remember in 1968, Democrats, they were willing to challenge Lyndon Johnson. You know, that we lost the election in 1968. We got Johnson not to run again because really a lot of people put the country first. Where are the Republicans that will put the country first and stop the Mitch McConnells of the world? And these Republican leaders that are simply saying, Mr. President, we don't care. You can't do your job. We'll block anything you do, and we're not even going to hold hearings on your constitutional right to nominate someone for the Supreme Court.
All right. Good analysis. I'm excited to say we have Ben Knight, and Ben Knight is back. And I have said to Casey Campbell more than once, look, there are some people, please bring them back. Ben Knight is one of them. And Ben Knight is with the Well Diggers. And by the way, if you want to hear his music, just go to, and it's KNIGHT, so Ben Knight and the welldiggers.com. You can also hear his music on iTunes and other places. And by the way, before you play, he just moved to Ludlow, Kentucky. Let's hear it.
Are you serious? Oh. Did you come here by bus?
I was going to say, did you take the bus?
No, I walked about 100 yards.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I ride the Ludlow City Bus, and by the way, I endorse them and have ads running on the podcast for the Ludlow City Bus Company. If you ride the Ludlow City Bus, would you do me a favor when you get on, say to the driver, Gene told me about you.
Gene sent me.
Gene sent me. Yeah, that's better.
Are you
Gene
getting
sent me.
kickbacks? Are you getting kickbacks for that?
I'm
No.
hoping to. That's what I'm trying to
If
work
you
up to.
think you've ridden on the Ludlow City bus, you're on drugs.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good.
Drank a six-pack of pint cans of Bud, Weiser beer, walked with my dog down to the river and asked for peace. And to the spirit of the water and the spirit of the drowned, is it raining everywhere, just in my mouth? Or is it raining everywhere, just in my mouth? We are righteous when we wait. We are righteous when we wait. And if this is supposed to mean something, what in the hell does it mean? If I'm being tested, what do I receive? And I have had all I could take, I have had all I can stand. And if I break under pressure, what does that mean? If I break under pressure, would the pressure then recede? Oh, we are righteous when we wait. We are righteous there is something whole about being human. Once that we believe.
That's really good, Ben.
Thank you, sir.
And you know, we make a deal about joking around about moving into Ludlow because Ludlow really is becoming a place, kind of an enclave for some really cool artist class kind of
Certainly,
people.
yeah.
And you know, you almost think we're going to hit the critical mass where, man, it really changes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool that you've
Yeah, we're
in.
really glad to be a part of it. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of great people down here, and I'm from a really small little town, so it's kind
from where? From
I'm from Western Kentucky, and it's Webster County.
Okay.
There's not much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Hey, do another song, would you?
Oh yeah.
All right.
I woke up and rode to the doctor on a bike clearly built for two. He wrote me a note for a dinner plate, so I ate. Picture of you. I came home, took a walk, tried to make a little sense of it. I felt pretty swell since I left. It gets hard to tell. It's a side effect or the medicine. Oh, I fell in love with the answer to all my problems. I fell in love with the answer. Fell in love. Been locked out of life for so long, I didn't know what to expect. Built a scale model of love, looked from above with a jeweler's lens to inspect. Brand new car and ant farm, golden ring, a box of old clothes, pillbox hat, and regret. So this history. I fell in love with the answer to all my problems. I fell in love with the answer.
Yeah, Ben Knight. Ben Knight and the Well Diggers, proud new resident of Ludlow, Kentucky, the home location of the Folk School Coffee Parlor. Ben, would you take us out on Irene Goodnight?
Oh, yeah.
You've been listening to Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery, recorded live at the Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky. Thanks to Patrick Kennedy for writing our opening song, and to you for listening. Check out our website at jerryspringer.com.
Me and my wife settled down. Me and my wife have parted. I'm gonna take a little stroll around town. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams.
Sometimes I live in the country, and sometimes I live in town. Sometimes I take a great notion to jump in the river and